Hey guys, your friendly neighborhood doc here. Just wanted to do another video since I'm not going to have an initial assessment video this week. I wanted to do a comic review on Solus by Barbara Kessel with art by George Perez and inks by Rick Magyar. So this was a CrossGen title. It was one of the last CrossGen titles to come out. Unfortunately, it only lasted 8 issues, and I'm going to do a review of the first 2 while we are here. All right, so you've got this really awesome cover that opens the series by George Perez, and I'm just going to give you the bigger beats of it because, like I said, this is not a review of the entire series because I don't have all 8 issues, but Solus was one of the gods of the CrossGen universe, and you see this massive, you're just like, oh, this is the guy that drew Crisis on Infinite Earths, because you see all of this energy and chronal energy and explosions and worlds being created and destroyed, and all of a sudden Solus gets kicked out, and this character behind her is kind of her, not her paramour, but he was the one that, like he says, I've tried to protect her, but she is always, as always, too headstrong. So she gets tossed out to this planet and gets these sigils get sent out to all of these different characters. And that was the whole basis of the CrossGen universe, was that these sigils were given to these characters to make the ordinary extraordinary. So Solusandra is the story of her partially creating this world, but now she is stuck in this video game world. And she's thrown into the middle of pretty much, I guess you would say, Gears of War, something like that, Fallout, something similar to that. She's thrown into this, and she doesn't understand it, but she has enough power left that she can influence the game. And she doesn't remember what her name is, so one of the characters asks what her name is, and she says Andra. And so he names her Andra Radiant, because there was a character in the game called the Radiant. And so she is Andra Radiant. And she has the power of the sigil. And I'm going through this really, really quickly, but the story progresses extremely quickly as well. So she destroys in this game one aspect of her friend, who she doesn't know that's who it is. So she destroys that aspect of him, so he sends this big, giant, dog-looking creature. Well, actually, that's in the game. Sorry. I did get ahead of myself. But like I said, she pretty much destroys the game itself. And after that, then, let's see. So this character, like I said, who was at once her friend, now sends this fire-breathing dog creature, this giant dog-dragon hybrid, to destroy her. And in the second issue, then we get the continuation of the world building, and here's this character that has history with Solusandra, and he says soon the burden will be halved and shared. And so he carries this locket, bracelet, necklace, whatever you want to call it, with him, and he's going to try to share it with Solusandra so that he doesn't have to carry the weight by himself. Meanwhile, this giant dog creature is still chasing her throughout the multiverse, and she's trying to outrun it. And she sends it scurrying, but now Andra is trying to figure out where she is. And now she is with this character who reveals himself to be younger and less father-timey, but he gives her that back. He gives her the necklace, and she places it on, I guess more like a choker, and she places it on her, and she remembers that there are 7 powerful weapons in this world. And it's the weapons of a character named Altwall, who is also one of the gods of this universe. So now she can tap into even more energy as this dog hound comes back at her again. And she continues to fight. And then we see a sigil-like set up on this planet. So like I said, this was a very quick 2 issues, but it sets up part of the mythology of the CrossGen universe. It shows that these firsts, these godlike beings, do interact with their sigil bearers and with the people that are in the universe. The artwork is really great by George Perez. He was still, this was around 2003, I think. So he was still very, very powerful artistically. This is actually the book, if I'm correct, that he ended up leaving the Avengers for, because he was doing his Avengers run on Heroes Return with Kurt Busiek, and he ended up leaving that title to come and illustrate this title. So if you're really a big fan of the CrossGen universe and all the characters that were in the CrossGen universe, Ethan from Scion, the Mystic characters, the Negation War, all of those, then you're really going to like this, because you can't go wrong with George Perez artwork. You just can't. The level of detail that he creates with the characters, the world building that Barbara Kessel is trying to put together, and that game that you see. And then you realize that it's not a game just of video game stature, but it's a game of life and death. So I'm actually pretty interested to catch the other, 6 issues of this title, and see if it makes more sense once I've read the entire thing. But like I said, guys, I really enjoyed these 2 issues, and so I'm going to try to track down the other issues of this. A lot of the CrossGen titles, if you never read them, actually were really, really great. Scion was one of my favorite books. I love Jim Chung. I love Ron Mars on that title, and I hated to see when they had fill-in issues. Nothing against Rick Leonardi or Jim Fern on the later sections of the run. But that title was just, to me, it was like nothing else on the shelves. And that's what you can say about a lot of these CrossGen titles, is that they were unlike anything else on the shelf. Brandon Peterson put his heart and soul into Mystic. Joshua Middleton did the same with Meridian. Jim Chung and Don Hillsman II as penciler and inker, respectively, on Scion. So if you've never had the opportunity, go dig through the dollar boxes, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. The first 5 or 6 issues of Scion open extremely strong. Some of the greatest artwork I've ever seen Jim Chung do. The coloring on these books was top-notch, and it was kind of like a King Arthur story. So, but for Solus, who knows what holds for the next 6 issues, but I will try to find them, and if I do, I will come back and do another setup and another video with those issues. Have a great night, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe and keep growing this channel, and we will see you in the next video.